Icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. IKEA sale now on. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
The season is shaping up, and whether they're going for glory or going down, it's all to play for. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out Goals! With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
There's not many things as epic as jumping over a volcano in a monster truck, or even swinging over a crocodile-infested river. But 15% off when you spend £15 at Mackey's comes pretty close. Deal drop. Redeem all week, only in the app. 18 plus app only. One-time use per week until the 20th of April. Minimum spend and discount applied to food and drink items only. Participating restaurants, T's and C's apply.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair, play different.
18 plus, begambleaware.org.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Get those jobs sorted this Easter with some great deals at Screwfix. Save £20 on the Titan self-propelled petrol mower, now only £179.99. And stock up on screws with a Turbo Gold Wood Screws trade pack, now only £19.99. That's a saving of £30. Don't miss out. These Easter deals must end on the 21st of April. Shop the Screwfix app online or in-store. Subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now. Like Arsenal versus Brentford live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus, stream via internet. Terms apply.
Monday night, live. Championship football on TalkSport 2.
In space, over the goalkeeper and in.
Hull City versus Coventry City.
Oh, what about that? Team news and expert opinion deftly delivered from 7, and the action kicks off at 8.
Chance to drive it home, deflected it in.
Monday night.
Only on TalkSport 2. Kick it.
Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 2. It's Daniel Munoz with the second for Palace.
Kamada, who plays it in low to Mateta, who strikes it, and it's loose inside the area and guided in by Munoz.
He scored many goals before he arrived to Crystal Palace, so I think he scored 5 in a half season in Belgium. So he's in. I think also his position fits perfect to his skills.
It's Crystal Palace 2, Brighton 1. It is Daniel Munoz who has put Palace in front.
Yeah, Daniel Munoz flying at the moment, certainly down that right wing. 4 goals and 5 assists in the league. 6 goals and 6 assists across all competitions. That's been since this year alone. I mean, he is absolutely the player that Oliver Glasner would want in this Palace side. It's also been reported that he's signed a new contract with the club as
the warm-up. In
Inject high-octane, explosive entertainment into the post-apocalyptic wasteland that is your average sporting Sunday. The warm-up with Mad Max Rushton and Barry Glendenning.
Actually, I'm not mad, just a bit tired.
He's the rebel weekend warrior chained to the wheel of a spiky, futuristic juggernaut of sporting retribution.
Actually, it's just a normal city car, 1.6 automatic.
Wheels spinning through the blasted badlands of your weekend.
Guys.
The warm-up with Max Rushton and Barry Glendenning.
He clearly hasn't heard the show, has he?
The future of Sunday morning sports broadcasting.
Tomorrow morning from 11 on Talk Sport.
Sorry about that. I think we just dropped off for there, but we are here. We are still here live at the Etihad.
Did we have a glitch?
I don't want to say we had a glitch, but maybe we did. If anyone heard it, that might be what it is. But anyway, we're back, alive and kicking here at the Etihad, and we were talking about Daniel Munoz, who it appears it's been reported that he's signed a new deal with the club, and I'm not surprised at all that Crystal Palace have done that. Incidentally, Palace haven't confirmed it, but I think that's just to come. He joined in January 2024, and since then, I mean, he's just flourished, as you were saying, Sam, under Oliver Glasner. He's exactly the right player.
Well, he's perfect for the system, isn't he? He's a proper wing back. He gets forward, he supplements the attack.
And he's quick.
Only Josko Vardiol has scored more goals than Daniel Munoz in the Premier League as far as defenders are concerned. And only Andy Robinson has got more assists as far as defenders are concerned. He's got 8 goal involvements. That's pretty good for this stage of the season, especially if you're playing for Crystal Palace. Bit of a bargain, really, and he balances the system out really well, because on the other side of the pitch you've got Tyreek Mitchell, who is more of a defender than an attacker. He does get forward, but he is more of a defender than an attacker, and I think the balance between the two is right.
Yeah, absolutely. So Glasner playing 3-4. In the Premier League. Not to make a dig, but is that proof, Stuart Pearce, that system can be played in the Premier League with the right personnel? Maybe Manchester United sort of are looking at that thinking, God, if we had the right players.
They're getting there. That's looking a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's it. I like that system. I really enjoyed playing in that system as one of the 3 central defenders. I think it gives you more flexibility to play out from the back. I think it gives you more rotation. But the key to it, as you and Sam have outlined just there, the wing-back's ability to get forward and supplement the attack and not just be bolted on and making a 5-man defence all the time.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be interesting to see this system play out here at the Etihad, of course. For those of you that think the spark has gone in the Premier League this season, have a listen to this. Look, here we are at the business end of the season. For Manchester City, a top 5 place and a spot in next season's Champions League is not a given, such has been the downturn in fortunes for the current Premier League champions, but it is absolutely necessary for a team of this stature. Turbulence has reigned in Manchester, hasn't it? But a miserable start for Palace has quickly transformed into what's looking like a dream season for them. The visitors have only beaten City once in 12 attempts in the top flight, but they've lost just 2 of their last 6 here at the Etihad. And when you're a team on the up, absolutely anything can happen. Oh, and I don't know, did you know that Manchester City are winless in their last 3 early kickoffs on a Saturday? It means it's all set up beautifully as the business end of the season takes off. So as we get ready for kickoff, I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team today, Stuart Pearce. But first, Here's Sam Matterface.
Well, today's venue is the Etihad Stadium on the east side of Manchester, a stadium that is being expanded to fit in more supporters to a club that have been increasing their market share year by year. But a bit like the traders have discovered on the stock market this week, missteps, external forces and a bit of bad luck can lead to a downturn in your fortune. And Manchester City know exactly what that feels like right now. At the end of this reporting period, it will be noted that Manchester City have won fewer points than in any other season under Pep Guardiola. They have already conceded more goals this campaign than at any other point since his arrival, and it's possible that that defence could drop to levels not seen for 15 years. That said, they have staged a little bit of a mini recovery in that department with back-to-back clean sheets for the first time since last May. Not that anyone's getting too excited about that. Those fixtures were against Manchester United and Leicester, and their stock is not very high at all. Crystal Palace are thinking about record highs, looking to go 11 away matches without defeat for the first time in their history, and eyeing up a foray into the continental market for the very first time. Stuart Pearce is here. Stuart, City don't usually struggle against anyone for long, but Palace have had good games against them and become tricky opponents for them in recent years. What do you think it is about them that disrupts Pep's team?
Their organisation and their individual ability on the counter-attack to really hurt them. I'm looking at the team line-up, Sam, and you know what? I fancy Palace today. I really do. I think they can. The form they're on, they're coming into this with confidence. They got match winners that can get a goal out of nothing. They got a centre forward that's doing extremely well. Eza is on outstanding form. We know his ability, but and City have got one or two of their players not on good form and giving chances to youngsters.
Certainly have, and this is the two starting lineup, starting with Manchester City, the home team. Edison, the goalkeeper. Lewis at right back. Diaz, Gvardiol moves into centre back again. Nico O'Reilly starts at left back for the third game in a row. In midfield, it's Gonzalez, Gundogan, and Kovacic. McAtee supports Marmoush, and Kevin De Bruyne has that wandering role in behind the front two. No Phil Foden in the squad today. Picked up a knock last weekend. What about Crystal Palace? Well, they are without Mark Gay, their influential captain, after he was suspended, having been given a red card in the game with Brighton last weekend. It means that Jefferson Lerma continues in the middle of the back three, or a part of the back three. Henderson is the goalkeeper. Richards, Lacroix and Lerma, the back three. Will be interested to see how they actually configure themselves. Munoz on the right-hand side, Mitchell on the left as the wing-backs, Kamada and Wharton in the centre. Sarr and Eze look to supply Jean-Philippe Mateta, who is wearing a third version of that water polo style helmet which covers one of his ears, which was almost taken off in an FA Cup game. But his goal record, nothing short of fantastic. 9 in his last 10 appearances. There's no wonder that he has been linked with a move to Manchester United and others in the summer. Our referee today is Jared Gillett. Darren Cann, the World Cup final assistant, retires after today, and Peter Banks will be the VAR. At 3 o'clock over on TalkSport 2, it's relegated Southampton against Aston Villa, who have the Champions League on their mind. So have we, because on Wednesday night we're in Madrid as Arsenal look to complete the job against Real Madrid. Tomorrow the Sunday session comes from Newcastle as we go around the ground Sunday style, and from 2:30 this afternoon, Adrian Durham has Troy Deeney and Jermaine Genius alongside him as he brings you all the goals as they go in. Right now it's Manchester City taking on the Palace, with Europe the goal for both, but after watching their stock drop, they want to make sure they still reach the Champions League, where they can still make top dollar. All 22 players take the knee to remind people that there is no room for racism, and then Jared Gillett gets us off and underway with the home team Manchester City in light blue jerseys, white shorts and dark socks, attacking the goal away to our right in the first half, and Palace all in yellow going from right to left. Stuart Pearce, the former Manchester City manager, is alongside me, And interestingly, as soon as I look down and away to my right, Crystal Palace are in that back five configuration rather than the three with the two wing-backs pushing on.
Yeah, as I say, it's a sign of a good side playing this the three-man stroke five-man at the back. Turn it into a five as quickly as you can, but make sure it's a three when you're going forward.
De Bruyne's found McAtee early on. His cross is too high for Nico O'Reilly, who's just launched himself into the penalty area, and he is of a size, Nico O'Reilly. It goes over his head and then spirals out for a throw-in over on the right-hand side. It's not the first choice Palace defence. How much of a difference will that make to the Premier League's informal away team, do you think?
Well, I think if this the early interaction there is anything to play by, Mark Gahey missing, I really rate this kid. I think he's an outstanding both at club and country level, and I think they'll miss him without a doubt. He's probably their, well, and there's no doubt about it, he's their best defender. But they were knocked over a little bit too readily just then. Kovacic just pulling one of the midfield players out of joint, and then from there it was like a deck of cards, people arriving too late, and McAtee should have delivered a better cross, to be fair, Sam.
Palace can briefly go into the top half with a win today. Manchester City will move into fourth before Chelsea and Newcastle United play tomorrow, and it is a really big week as far as that race for the top five is concerned, because Newcastle will catch up their games whilst all eyes are on Arsenal and Real Madrid on TalkSport on Wednesday night. They play United tomorrow when we're in the Sunday session, and Palace at home on Wednesday. And if they were to pick up double 3 points there, and Chelsea, Aston Villa or Manchester City were to drop points this weekend, then Newcastle almost sort of absorb one of those positions in the top five. Here is Gundogan, on to Marmoush, who's coming back from an offside position. The flag is up, and a free kick given on the edge of the 18-yard box. Yeah, it is a really important week for that reason, really, Stuart, isn't it? Because if Manchester City were to drop points here tonight and then Newcastle were to win 2 games, there's only going to be one place to play for, realistically.
Yeah, exactly that. And as I say, we've come to that stage of the season where we got 8 or 9 games to go, 7 games maybe, where as you tick the games off, you're ticking teams off that can't actually get into that Champions League place. So it's really important, especially for City, that they don't drop points in any way, shape or form.
Ball clear from the left full-back position by Tyreek Mitchell of Crystal Palace. He sends it long towards Mateta, but it's cut out by Ruben Diaz. And it's out of play on this near touchline and away for a throw-in. City have been a little bit less potent than you would expect from a team that boasts so much talent. They have scored just 5 goals in their last 6 league matches. Here come Crystal Palace over on the right with Munoz, whose cross into the box reaches Mateta, whose header is narrowly off target, although I think he may have just strayed offside and the flag was up against him anyway. But it was a sign of what Crystal Palace do, really. I was at their game against Fulham the other week, Stuart, and they're quite happy to sit and soak up pressure and then spring on the counter-attack, and they have got potent weapons.
Yeah, they certainly have. Munoz, really aggressive position as right wing-back just then, received the ball and no thought apart from putting that ball in the box, and I think Mateta just strayed offside too soon. It's very congested in the central band, isn't it? You picked up earlier Man City playing with 2 holders and then advanced to that, Gundogan and De Bruyne as 2 in front of them, that box of 4.
Yeah, very congested as a result of that. Away by Lacroix, who just moves into the sort of right side of defence and manages to kick it clear from the edge of the penalty area. It goes to halfway. Guardiola brings it down into Nico Gonzalez. Manchester City in possession, then travelling with the ball is Kovacic. He goes past Mateta, runs into the midpoint of the Palace half, sends it wide. O'Reilly with a crossing towards McAtee, but it's headed away by the retreating Jefferson Lerma, and then they manage to get it clear, Crystal Palace, but there's no outball, so it comes back very quickly through Rico Lewis on the near side. Kevin De Bruyne drops in, picks it up, plays it centrally into Nico Gonzalez again. Now he's on the cusp of the centre circle, in a dead central position. Taps into Kovacic, lifts it over the top. McAtee is in behind here. His left-footed shot is tame. He sort of side-footed that as a back pass back to the goalkeeper. That was a real opportunity.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I wondered whether Sammy had been better off dragging it onto his right and unloading with power on his right foot, but he tried to open his body up there and feed it into the far corner.
Well, that's a good chance for James McAtee, who's starting his first Premier League game of the season, and the first time he's done that for Manchester City. Did play in the Sheffield United team in the Premier League last season, actually scored against Crystal Palace. Here is Gundogan, out on the wide left-hand side. The ball picked up by Marmoush, lovely little skill to take him past 2 players, and then he just runs out of room. and scoots out of the perimeter of the playing surface, and it goes behind and away for a corner away to our right-hand side. It's Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 0, live on TalkSport in the sunshine at the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, I don't know, is it Richards, I think, just pulled away from the challenge, didn't get a touch on it. Refs ended up giving a goal kick on the back of that, but Marmoush has probably been one of those successful signings, hasn't he, since he's come in. He's got good energy, good drive, and he offers them the threat, certainly with Haaland not being available.
Yeah, direct running and clever movement. He's been really impressive. He's so good with the ball at his feet as well. He scored 6 goals, 3 of which all came in one game. Haaland is the only Manchester City player that has reached double figures in the league this season. He's got 21, but it's a huge proportion of City's goals. So they needed someone to come and supplement that attack, and Marmoush certainly has done that. Chelsea chasing a quadruple. Hold on a second, because Ederson has just played the ball rather skittishly out towards Ruben Diaz. He just had it at his feet. He was pretty relaxed with it, played it to his left. There was a little stumble there by Vardiol, and then as the ball came back, he sort of had to slide it away from Eze and give it to Ruben Diaz, who was under pressure. He eventually gets it clear up towards the halfway line. Lerma wins it, and now Mitchell sends it back towards his defence, and it's all the way back to Henderson. So we can go off to Charlotte Richardson, who's got news of a goal in the FA Cup semi-final.
It's Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1. Against the run of play, the visitors take the lead. Olivia Smith, expertly beating the offside trap, drove into the box towards goal, found the bottom left corner with great composure. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1.
And that's a big goal for Liverpool. Chelsea chasing the quadruple, the first FA Cup semi-final for Liverpool since 2017. But as Liverpool have taken the lead, it's a 12-15 kick-off. Here is Richards in the heart of the defence for Crystal Palace, slipping it across to Lerma. A chance to get out on this left-hand side. Eze further up the pitch, moves into a central position, then goes wide out towards the left, outpaces Kovacic, then continues to control the ball despite tension from the Croatian. Takes it back into midfield, leaves it for Lerma, and then Kamada and Wharton exchange bump passes, and the ball is back at the heart of the defence with Lacroix, who works it out wide towards the right-hand side. Over on TalkSport 2, leads against Preston. Ball on the right-hand side, in towards Eze at the far post. It's crossed in by Sarr, tapped in by Eze, and Crystal Palace lead at the Etihad again. It's a brilliant, classic bit of Crystal Palace play, with Sarr bursting down the right-hand side and getting the better of a slumbering defence. He moved into an advanced position, centred the ball to the far post. It was left by Mateta because he knew the space was afforded to Eze, who was running in on the edge of the 6-yard box. He's pushed it home, and Crystal Palace have stolen the lead.
Palace brilliantly patient in the build-up, on occasion threatened to give the ball away, but when they played out, it arrived at that man Eze in his own half. He carried the ball up the pitch, had to check back, and then the build-up was brilliant. The width on to Muniz, I think it was, on the far side, helped the ball round the corner. Then all of a sudden, the ball was played wide, and it was Mateta and Eze bearing in on goal. It was that man Eze at the far post with the easiest of tap-ins, and it was Sarr's ball across the face of goal. Fantastic play by Palace.
It was brilliant from Crystal Palace, and our semi-automated offside technology has checked and passed that goal. And I think it is worth pointing out that that's probably the first use in the Premier League that we've had of that technology. It's given the goal. It would have ruled it out had Mateta touched it in the middle of the park, because he was narrowly offside. But the key situation here is that Manchester City are behind against Crystal Palace, and they've conceded yet another goal, Stuart. And clean sheets have certainly been few and far between this season. They've conceded 41 goals in the Premier League this campaign.
Yeah, and as I made that statement earlier, the thing that won them the Champions League was they turned that defence that was a little bit loose on occasion when they were getting to the latter stages of big tournaments into a really tight defensive unit. And that seems to have gone now with the amount of changes they've had, all of those type of things. But it's a poor goal to concede, but a very, very good goal from Palace's point of view.
Well, it's a great sign for Crystal Palace as well, because when they take the lead, they have lost only one of their 14 Premier League games in which they have scored first. Leeds 1-1 with Preston. Solomon scored very early on, but Preston equalised within 2 minutes of that game. Leeds will go back top of the Championship if they get all 3 points today. They'll do that on goal difference. Burnley going into a 3-point lead at the top of the table last night after a victory over Norwich. Sheffield United just fallen off the pace a little bit there in action today as well, away at Plymouth. Here, Crystal Palace lead by 1-0, away from home. Ball picked up over on the right side by Kamada. He sends it towards the left now, and Mitchell moving down the left touchline, sends it back to Jefferson Lerma. And this plays into Crystal Palace's hands in a way, Stuart, doesn't it? Because having gained the advantage, they'll be quite happy not to force the issue and just wait for their border raids.
Yeah, they certainly will, and they've got threats on either side. Munoz very aggressive with his position as right wing back, but you can see what they want to do. Get the ball into Eze's feet and let him create something. He looks so brimming with confidence at the moment.
Certainly does. He scored his first England goal in the last international break, was the catalyst for that victory against Fulham. Here they come down the right hand side again, across into the box, takes the deflection off of Guardiola, goes into the arms of Ederson this time, and he pulls it into his chest and clears it away.
See what Palace are doing really well. They're playing a three-pronged attack almost. Sarr, Mateta and Eze really tight. What would you say? 20 metres between them, isn't it? Yeah. Where they are. And then they're running into those little channel areas in between the central defenders and the fullbacks, causing big problems, and that's where the goal come from.
Well, it means that when Munoz or Mitchell get down the side and into a crossing position, they've got 3 options in the centre. Largely, they've only got 2 central defenders, obviously, back in Manchester City, so a midfielder's got to drop in. Here is Sarr, picking the ball up centrally now, running and sending it out left towards Mitchell this time, who's crossed into the box, is dealt with by backpedalling Ruben Diaz, and he sends it away. And now a chance for a counter-attack. De Bruyne is leading it, up over the half-wide line and feeding Marmoush, who gets in behind Richards, slips it towards the goalkeeper's right. Good save by Henderson, comes back out to De Bruyne. He shoots from the edge of the area, and it goes narrowly wide after a reflection from Richards, who got back in the nick of time. It was a quick counter-attack. Marmoush thinks that there might have been an infringement there, and there's maybe some suggestion that there may well have been a foul or a handball on the edge of the 6-yard box, but certainly Marmoush was up and speaking to Jared Gillett very, very quickly. Pep Guardiola's not happy as well. He's having a word with the 4th official, Chris Kavanagh.
Yeah, it was a good break by City. The ball was cleared. I think it was more of a clearance than a well-timed pass, but I've got to say the timing of the pass by De Bruyne was brilliant. Marmoush as well, he offers that pace on the counter, opened his body up to slot it past the goalie. I thought he was going far corner. He tried to give the goalkeeper the eyes, and Pep at this moment in time is waiting for a second option.
Well, they're just checking to see whether or not there was a pull on the shirt. I don't think that the VAR is going to give a penalty here, so we will just have a corner for City, which is taken right-footed, right under Henderson, who grabs it from the sky and pulls it into his chest and will clear upfield. Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 1, 13 minutes gone. You're listening to TalkSport on this Saturday lunchtime, and we're with Sky Sports. Don't forget that you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Arsenal versus Brentford live today. Search Now Sports.
I think when we talk about the Premier League not being great, this has been a very enjoyable open encounter between these two. Both teams playing through the thirds pretty well. Both teams looking decent on the counter attack, and both teams offering a threat.
Here is Henderson to Lacroix, right edge of the penalty area, plays it to Richards. Richards comes in field, plays it up to Sarr. Sarr trying to roll from Gonzalez, who's got him in close quarters, dives in, commits a challenge, pushes it out to the far side. It goes out for a throw in deep inside Crystal Palace territory. Leeds have taken the lead again. Jayden Bogle, 3 goals in the first 8 minutes of that game. Leeds lead by 2 goals to 1. No goals in League One so far, where Wigan and Wrexham are in action, and Wickham and Stevenage as well. But in League 2 we have had goals. Bradford have scored 2 and have had a man sent off in their game. They lead by 2 goals to 0. They're desperate to get all 3 points. They want promotion back to League One.
If you could, Sam, when Wildstone take the lead against Barnet, keep me informed, will you?
Of course, I know that.
In our local derby match with with the enemy.
Here is O'Reilly down the left-hand side towards the far post. The header from McAtee. It drops inside the area and Wharton gets it clear. It's sent out to the near touchline and Eze is chasing it. Crystal Palace managed to turn it away from Rico Lewis and get it back to Wharton and have some controlled possession again.
You know the beauty of Eze? He's like Switzerland. He's the safe zone. You can give him the ball and no one else can touch him. And he can get your team up the pitch, comfortable on it, lifts the tempo of the game or slows it down accordingly. Really clever.
Barnet 0, Wealdstone 0, just so you know.
Okay, thanks, mate. Thanks for that.
Here is Nico Gonzalez. I thought you said, when you said he was like Switzerland, I thought, he stores your money for you. Here is Lewis on this near side. Back towards halfway. It's picked up by Ruben Diaz. Then tries to break the lines with a good pass into Kovacic, who then looks to feed it into Gundogan, but it's very congested in that centre area of the pitch and snuffled away by the Crystal Palace midfield. Ball works out wide. There's a bit of space for Lewis. It runs kindly for him. He turns it back infield, and Kovacic had to adjust his position to control it before shifting it back to Ruben Diaz. Remember, those Manchester City goals have dried up in recent times, and they are a goal behind here.
I think you're suggesting that Manchester City are doing all the things that don't look good in a team, conceding goals and goals drying up.
That is a bit of a problem, and it's a counter-attack problem here for them too, because Sarr has just almost got on the end of an opportunity before Vardiol, who was high up the pitch and had to just adjust and dive in to deny Ismaila Sarr a breakaway on the right-hand side. I mean, that was the perfect opportunity for Palace to get another counter-attack away, and they had 3 players in that attack once again.
Well, that's something that they've done really well, wouldn't they? When they do counter-attack, you know full well if one goes into a sort of wider area, there's at least 2 filling between the goalposts, and that was probably about ½ ounce in weight short of being another goal for Palace.
Yeah, the through ball just a little bit too close to Vardiol, who did manage to time his challenge really well. Ball sent down into the right wing position, and Lewis is chasing it. He's bumped off the ball by Mitchell, and that's going to be a free kick to Manchester City down by the corner flag. It's still 1-0 to the visitors, the Londoners, and Oliver Glasner has done a really good job with Crystal Palace, especially since the turn of the year, where the only team that can trump their record is Liverpool. They are 10 away games without defeat in the league, and they have lost just 2 of the last 17 matches in all competitions. FA Cup semi-finalists, of course. Here is De Bruyne, placing the ball in a couple of inches in from the right touchline. And he'll hit this right-footed and outswinger towards the back post, but it's missed all of the blue shirts, headed away by the American Richards, and then collected by Rico Lewis, and then out to the far side, chopped in by Marmouche. It's headed away again by the resolute Crystal Palace back line. One by McAtee. Just in front of the centre circle is Lewis again, keeps them on the front foot. It's fired in, stopped by Lerma, cleared away by Palace, out to the far side. It was a bit behind Munoz, so he couldn't get on that rampaging run that he loves to do, but they have sent the ball forward now. Sarr couldn't hold it. Lewis intervened, and Manchester City have possession back again on the halfway line. We've played 18.5 minutes on TalkSport this Saturday lunchtime, where there are lots of games in the EFL that matter up and down the country that kick off at 12:30 today. None more so than that Leeds United game and that Sheffield United game that are taking place in the Championship, and there is coverage over on TalkSport too. De Bruyne in towards the near post with the cross from the wide right, cut out by Lacroix. It bounces out by the corner flag, and then Lerma controls it. Mitchell hoiks it high into the sky, and it drops in the first row of the stand that we're sitting in, and it's going to be a throw into Manchester City.
Yeah, the positive points for City, having gone a goal down, they can find room between the midfield and with a pass, and I've just seen a point in case as I was opening my mouth, straight into Gundogan's feet on the edge of the box, and they've been able to find those passes on the odd occasion.
That was a really good ball into Gundogan, who used his balletic feet to take it into his body, but immediately Lacroix was there to pinch it, and eventually there was a foul given against the Manchester City player, and as a result, after Kamada was knocked to the floor, it's a free kick to Crystal Palace, which they send long out towards the right, and Munoz has got the better of O'Reilly here physically, and he's won a corner. He did brilliantly there because he looked second favourite at one point, It was a long ball by Henderson. He just sort of smashed that up into the right wing position. It was chased by Munoz and by O'Reilly, and Munoz dealt with it better, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, Munoz just used a bit of experience there, just nudged the youngster out the way slightly. I think O'Reilly thought it was a comfortable see this out, and it was anything but. He just had a nudge just at the right time, I think, just to turn the ball over.
Only 12 goals conceded away from home in the Premier League this season, Crystal Palace, and they have overtaken Arsenal as the set-piece kings. What can they do from this corner? In towards the near post. Richards is there, rising in front of the goalkeeper to dab it home. From the corner kick from Wharton, it was a perfectly swirling delivery right into the danger zone and on the money with a forceful header, literally 2 yards from goal. It was Chris Richards. There'll be question marks about why the goalkeeper didn't come and try and punch that and why the defence didn't deal with it. But Richards has got up higher than anybody else, and he's given Crystal Palace a 2-goal lead away at the dethroned Premier League champions.
Well, great ball in, I've got to say, by Wharton. Good whip, but it's landed dead centre of the goal. Goalkeeper has ended up being blocked half by his own man, I think, half by a block from a Palace player. But this is a poor, poor goal to concede. He'll not score an easier goal than that. He's literally, his contact is probably 2 metres from the goal line. Goalkeeper absolutely in no man's land. And 2-0 to Palace.
Well, I mean, that's quite an amazing turn of events. Manchester City unhappy again, suggesting that they felt as if Mateta had impeded the goalkeeper. Did you think that that was the case?
No, he was in and around the goalkeeper, it's fair to say. But listen, I think sometimes goalkeepers go to deal with situations, Sam, and they want charity to start with, and that puts them in the wrong mindset, if you like, to be aggressive in and around their goal line.
Well, 2 goals for Crystal Palace in the first quarter of the match, and it's 2-0. And a brilliant delivery by Wharton. A super bit of construction from Crystal Palace. And I mentioned that they were the set-piece kings of the Premier League. That's their 15th goal from set-pieces. Arsenal, Villa and Everton have got 13 from set-pieces. That's their 10th goal from a corner alone. And there will be a bit of an inquest. You know, why was Mateta allowed to pressurise Ederson? Why did no one else go and intervene in that situation? It looks a little bit as if it's slightly a bit casual from Manchester City.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. It certainly was that. That is for sure. And Palace are playing okay, but you know, would I say they're playing well enough to be a 2-goal advantage up? I'm not sure about that. But
Gundogan into De Bruyne, edge of the D, trying to respond. He gets it again, shoots towards the far corner, hits the post, comes back to Gundogan, and then it goes out on this near side after Mitchell deals with it. I think there was an offside flag up anyway, as a result of maybe a touch by James McAtee, but Gundogan almost profiting after the ball came back off the post. A wonderful effort from Kevin De Bruyne, who actually had it pinched first time. It came back to him, edge of the D, and then he swirled the ball to the far post. It smashed that post and came back into the penalty area.
Well, Sam, I don't know who said there's not much action in the Premier League. We certainly got a feeling of it here at the moment, haven't we?
Certainly have today, that is for sure. And we've had a brilliant start to the game. We played just 23 minutes, and it is 2-0 to Crystal Palace. And it's been a tactical masterclass from Oliver Glasner, who this week actually has been linked with the job at Tottenham Hotspur, a job that isn't available because Ange Postecoglou is in it, but Ange Postecoglou himself said this week that the common wisdom is no matter what happens there, I'm probably done. And he said, well, I read that in the paper, he said, anyway.
He's based that on statements like you've just made there about Glasner being in line for Tottenham.
Well, he's also complained there's a mole in the camp at Postecoglou as well today. Here is Mateta down the right-hand side, looking to gallop on towards Munoz. Munoz into the penalty area. Mateta trying to back him up, and then O'Reilly wins it and takes it away towards the left full-back position and does brilliantly to evade the challenge of Mateta. It goes into midfield, and then Gonzalez gets it back to Ederson. It's chested down by O'Reilly and taken out towards the near side, and then sent into Ruben Diaz.
Munoz is like Juan Torino, the 400-metre runner from yesteryear, isn't he? The way he gallops on, incredible. Sees the opportunity and literally just gallops forward. Really gives a good opportunity for his team to get forward.
You say yesteryear, what year would that be?
I think I've gone back to about 1968 Mexican Olympics there, I'm afraid to say.
Okay.
We'll have to look him up at half-time.
I'll have to get the history books out for that one. I must admit, just to go a little bit over my head, that one. Maybe that's because I'm so youthful.
Well, there is that. There is that about you, amongst other things.
Reshmi both looking across the line as if to say, yeah, you've been clinging on to that youth. Yeah, probably right. Swindon pull a goal back against 10-man Bradford in League 2. Remember, over on TalkSport 2, the Leeds-Preston game is still available. Munoz has got it again on that right-hand side. He slipped it into the path of Kamada. There's three waiting in the centre. It's pulled back towards Sarr. And he sent it over the top of the crossbar from a tight angle on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's another great opportunity for Crystal Palace. And I'll tell you what, when they get down that right-hand side, Crystal Palace, they approach that Manchester City defence. They slice them open like a hot knife through butter.
I'll tell you what they do brilliantly, Palace. They turn defence or a semi-opportunity into an overload in the opposition's box very, very quickly. They arrived, the ball got whipped across the face of goal, and there's 4 Palace players in and around the goal area looking to score. It's fantastic, it really is.
Chris Richards has got his first goal for Crystal Palace this season. He was on hand to turn in a corner, and they've got another opportunity here. It's 4-on-2 in Crystal Palace's favour, and Mitchell's ball is not good enough. If it had been, that would have been 3-0. He's got the ball on the left-hand side. He's tried to quickly steer it to the far post where he's seen that Sarr has advanced, but he didn't get enough curl on it, and he actually dollied it up into the arms of Edison, and that is a massive let-off for Manchester City, who are all over the place defensively.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. When that ball goes beyond the midfield, all of a sudden the defence are either 3-on-3 or outnumbered, you name it. But Palace have got the aptitude to want to make the hard yards, to make the box.
But the key thing here is it's pretty obvious what they're doing as well. They're sending the ball over the press, and then they've got more men further on than the Manchester City bodies that have gone to try and shut them down. So there's always an overload for them. They've got more numbers in the advanced positions.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're certainly making the most of it when they do get in these areas.
I mean, you would expect. I would have expected a little adjustment to have been made by now. Munoz has won the ball again over on the far side, and he's started to run up the field. He's got Eze on this near touch line. Eze's got it now, edge of the area, cuts in, right-footed. It's 3-0. Well, the offside flag has gone up very quickly, and that may spare the Manchester City blushes. But Crystal Palace think that they've gone 3-0 in front, and Eberici Eze is still celebrating because he thinks he's done his job. Well, the VAR and the semi-automated technology have got a big call to make here. The goal has been initially disallowed, but if this counts, this is a massive problem for Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty tight. I've got to say, the ball from Munoz, I thought he was offside, but just looking at the replay, I think he has just overstepped the mark by literally the length of his foot. But you've got to say, he should never have been offside from there, 1 point. But when he come inside, he knew exactly what he was doing. Come inside the defender, open the goal up and slide it beyond the goal.
Well, the goal has been disallowed, but I would love to see the measurements, because those measurements are going to be minuscule. It was a very quick check by the new technology, that is for certain. But I'd love to see the picture, because I don't